Okay, let's unpack this. We're diving deep today into something that feels, well, maybe a little ahead of schedule.
Just a bit.
But if you're a horror fan, maybe it's actually right on time. We're looking at this SYFY article, and it's dropped some news that feels, I don't know, oddly timed, but super important if you're eyeing the spooky season.
It really is kind of strange, isn't it? We're talking Halloween Horror Nights 2025, Universal Studios Florida. And the big thing, the main takeaway from this SYFY piece, tickets are on sale. Like right now.
Right now, in June.
Yep. As of June 5th, 2025, you can actually buy tickets for an event months down the road.
Wow. Okay. It's like seeing Christmas decorations before Halloween even happens.
Right.
But for you listening, especially if you're a dedicated horror enthusiast.
They're just thinking about a trip to Universal Orlando, maybe.
Exactly. During that fall window, this timing is actually pretty crucial. So our mission here is to go beyond just the headline. Let's pull out the strategic stuff from this article. Why now? What are your actual options?
Exactly. It's not just, oh, tickets are available. It's understanding, the landscape for planning. We'll get into the actual event dates because it runs for a while.
Right.
And really importantly, we'll break down the different ways you can actually do Halloween Horror Nights based on the tickets the article talks about.
Yeah.
Your basic entries, skipping lines, even getting a peek behind the scenes.
Okay, so let's start with the basics then, the dates. How long is this thing actually running in 2025?
Okay, so the SYFY article says Halloween Horror Nights 2025. It's set for 48 nights. Select nights, mind you.
48, that's a lot.
It is. It kicks off pretty early, August 29th, and then runs all the way through November 2nd. So basically the entire fall season is dedicated to scares there.
Okay, that's a solid stretch of time. But that brings up something really important the article mentions. This isn't just part of your regular park ticket, is it?
No, absolutely not. And that's super important. This is a separately ticketed event, completely separate.
So even if I have an annual pass?
Doesn't matter. Your daytime ticket, your annual pass. That gets you into Universal Studios Florida during the day. But once the park closes for regular guests and flips over to HHN, you need a specific, different ticket just for that night's event. That's probably the #1 thing for anyone trying to budget or plan. You need that extra ticket.
Right. Okay. So step one, know you need a separate ticket. The article talks about the simplest option, the single night ticket. That's just your basic way in for one night.
Pretty much. That's your standard admission. You pick your date. That ticket gets you in the gate for that evening. Access to the houses, the scare zones, the shows, whatever rides are running. It's, the starting point.
But anyone who's been to these big theme park events knows standard admission can mean a lot of waiting.
Oh, yeah.
The article mentions a way around that, though, the Express Pass. How does that work? How does it change things?
Right. This is where strategy kicks in, especially if you want to see, everything on a busy night. The Halloween Horror Nights Express Pass, the article details this. It lets you skip the regular standby lines.
Okay.
You get to use the shorter express queue. But it's one time at each haunted house. And other rides or attractions that participate just once per.
One time per house. Okay, so not unlimited like some other park passes maybe. But if you're just doing one night, maybe a really popular one like a Friday or Saturday in October, is getting that Express Pass almost necessary if you want to see most things.
For a lot of people, yeah, probably. The article kind of frames it as getting a bit more bang for your buck, right? But the real insight, I think, is that it's often the difference between seeing, I don't know, maybe half the houses with huge waits versus potentially hitting most, maybe even all of them. On those peak nights, wait times can easily top 90 minutes, 2 hours even. The Express Pass cuts that down massively, so yeah, it costs extra on top of your event ticket. But for maximizing your house count in one night, it's a very practical thing to consider.
That makes total sense. It's less about saving money, maybe, and more about saving time to see more stuff. Now, the article also brings up something called the RIP tour. That sounds intense, like for the super serious fan.
Yeah, that's the premium, the VIP experience they mention. It's guided. And it includes front-of-the-line entry to all the houses. So an even better Express Pass benefit.
All right.
But what's really interesting about the RIP tour, and a key thing from the article, is that it also includes access to something called the Behind the Screams, Unmasking the Horror tour.
Behind the Screams.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds different. What is that?
It is totally different. The Unmasking the Horror tour is actually a separate thing you do during the daytime. You get to walk through some of the haunted houses, but with the lights on.
Lights on, no scare.
Well, maybe some accidental scares. The article calls it the ultimate behind-the-scenes journey. It's not about the jump scares. It's about seeing the detail, the set design, how the scares work, the artistry that goes into building these huge temporary immersive worlds. It's a chance to really appreciate the craft without, screaming your head off. Though, like the article jokes, even with the lights on, some of those sets are so creepy, you might still feel a chill.
Okay, so the RIP tour, that's really for someone who wants the no-wait scare experience at night. Plus, they're fascinated by how it's all made. They want the show and the backstage tour during the day.
Exactly. It blends the thrill seeker with the appreciative fan of the craft. It's a whole package. And for the absolute most eager fans, the article mentions one more special thing: Premium Scream Night.
Premium Scream Night. Sounds exclusive.
It is. It's described as a limited capacity event, one night only, specifically Thursday, August 28th.
August 28th. Wait, that's the day before it officially opens, right? August 29th was the start date.
Bingo. It's basically a preview night with a much smaller controlled crowd size because they sell fewer tickets.
Ah, okay. So what's the big advantage there? Why pay extra for that?
The main benefit they highlight is being among the very first people to see all 10 haunted houses for 2025. And crucially, with much shorter wait times because of that limited capacity.
Right, fewer people.
Which means you have more time to potentially do houses multiple times, check out the scare zones, grab the merch, try the food and drinks, all without feeling rushed or fighting those massive opening weekend crowds.
Okay, so if your absolute top priority is hitting everything with the least hassle, and you kind of want those bragging rights of being there before anyone else, Premium Scream Night on the 28th is the goal. If you can get a ticket, that is.
That's the strategic takeaway, yeah. It's for that ultimate early bird who puts efficiency and exclusivity first for that initial taste of the event.
This is all really helpful context pulled from that SYFY piece. So just to bring it all together quickly, Halloween Horror Nights 2025 tickets, Universal Studios Florida, they're out now, June 5th. That's the big headline.
Right. And the event itself runs for 48 select nights, August 29th, all the way through November 2nd.
You've got these different ways to experience it depending on what you're looking for. Single night tickets for just getting in the door.
Yep. Then the express pass to cut down waits, really important on busy nights. Remember, it's one skip per attraction.
And there's the RIP tour. That's the full VIP, front-of-line access, plus that really cool daytime behind the screams, lights on tour.
And finally, for the super early access with potentially the smallest crowds, that limited Premium Scream Night on August 28th, the night before the official start.
And the big overarching point here, kind of proven by tickets going on sale way back in June, is that this Halloween Horror Nights thing is a huge deal. It's super popular. Planning ahead isn't just a good idea.
It's pretty much essential.
Yeah, especially if you want those premium things like the RIP tour or that Premium Scream Night.
Absolutely. You really can't just show up the week of your trip and expect to waltz into HHN, especially if you need a specific date or want one of those limited experiences. Availability, particularly for RIP and Premium Scream, it can definitely sell out.
So this deep dive into the SYFY news really just hammers home. If you're thinking about Universal Orlando's Halloween Horror Nights for 2025, the time to start actually making decisions, maybe even buying tickets, is right now, June. It's a massive event, lots of layers to how you can access it depending on how deep you want to go into the fear.
And how much you're willing to spend to do it efficiently or, exclusively.
Right.
And, speaking of going deep, that RIP tour option with the behind the screams part kind of brings up an interesting question for you as you think about this.
Oh, yeah.
When it comes to appreciating the actual art of the scare at an event like this, what gives you a deeper understanding, you think? Is it seeing the final product, in the dark with the fog, the lights, the actors, everything working?
The full terrifying experience.
Notice it's seeing all the nuts and bolts, the incredible details, the clever tricks, all laid bare in the light during that behind the screams tour.
Yeah.
Which way do you think reveals more about the artistry? Just something to chew on.